Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET Englishtown.
Hello, how are you today? I hope you all are doing well, and let's get out our Reading My First Grammar 3 books, and we will get ready to begin. So before we start at today's lesson, which is lesson 14, superlatives, let's do a quick review for lesson 13, comparatives. Okay? So remember, a comparative is when you are talking about two things, specifically two things, and the things that are the same and different about them, or how they are different. So, for example, here I have two buildings. We have one, building 1 and building 2. Okay, so when we are talking about building 1, we can say it is shorter than building 2. We can say it is more expensive than building 2. Building 2 is only $2. This is $3, very expensive. We are talking about the ways they are different and how they are different. So these are called comparatives. When we make a comparative, we take a normal adjective, short, small, big, easy, nice. Okay, so when we make a comparative, we take a normal adjective, a short word, and what do we add to it? Can you remember? We add normally ER. ER. Now, there are some special cases with this too. For a word that is consonant, vowel, consonant, which, if you remember what a consonant is, or actually, so if you remember, if you have a word that is consonant, vowel, consonant, which vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and consonants are all other letters, then we add double the last letter before we add ER, so we have bigger. You also write the same pattern, hot, consonant, O, vowel, consonant, becomes hotter. Now, when we have words with last letter Y, last letter Y, the Y changes. It is not Y anymore. It becomes I, and it becomes IER. So we have easier. You can also write pretty. Becomes prettier with I. And then the last rule is if the last letter is E, we don't write ER. ER, then it is nicer and not nicer. We like to say nicer, so we can't write it like this. So the E combines into the other E, and you only add on nicer. Okay, so these are the ER word rules. Okay. The other rule of comparatives is what we do for long words, like expensive. or interesting, or dangerous. And for these words, it is very easy. All you have to do is put more before. More expensive, more interesting, more dangerous. Now it is a comparative. Okay, so these are what you do for long words. We also have some special words. Really, there are only two special words that you need to remember. We have good. Good does not become gooder. It becomes better. And bad. Bad does not become badder. It becomes worse. So these words are special words we need to remember. The only ones for comparatives that are strange. Okay, so now that we know comparatives, let's quickly remember how we make a sentence with comparatives. So, using what we learned before, let's write a couple sentences about buildings 1 and 2. We can say, if we look at building 1, we see building 1 is very expensive. So we can say, building 1 is building 1 is expensive, building 2. So to make it comparative, we are talking about the differences between the buildings. We say more expensive, and then we always need, after the comparative, we always need than. So building 1 is more expensive than building 2. We can also say building 1 is short than building 2. Okay. And if we want to start with building 2, we can say building 2 is tall. Don't forget than. Building 1. So we can see when we write the sentence, building 1 is more expensive than building 2, and building 1 is shorter than building 2, and building 2 is taller than building 1. Okay, so that's our quick review of comparatives. You need to remember to use more, than, and er. So now let us go to our lesson 14 in our student book. We'll learn about superlatives. Okay, so please go to lesson 14. We will learn about superlatives. So when we have comparatives, we compare two different things and how they are different. When we have superlatives, we compare more than 2. So we can compare 3, 4, 5, 100. Anything more than 2, we use superlatives. So I will draw another building. Okay. rules with superlatives. So, superlatives, you can remember, normally they are EST words, or actually ST words, we can remember. They are ST words. We can remember them as ST words. And we always use superlatives with the. When we are using superlatives, we are talking about only one thing. The one that is the most, the biggest, the most expensive. So we use it with the because there is only one that is like that. Only one can be the biggest. There cannot be two biggest. It makes no sense. So we use it always with the because it is specific. It is one. When we make a superlative, normally what we do with a normal short adjective is we just add est. So, fast becomes fastest. Slow becomes slowest. I forgot something, actually. We can't say fastest, slowest. We have to say the fastest, the slowest. Okay, when we have a consonant vowel consonant word like big or hot, same as we did for comparatives, we double the last letter. So bigger becomes biggest. Hot becomes hottest. And before, we always write the. Here, we see building 3 is the biggest. Building 1 is the smallest. So when we have a word that ends with Y, we change the Y, just like with comparatives, to I. So easy becomes the easiest. What do you think pretty becomes? Think about it for a little bit. Okay, and for the last one with short words that we have is words that end with E. Words that end with E, just like with comparatives, we do not make two E's. That is weird. Instead, we only add ST. Okay, so we have the nicest. This is the only word I can think of right now that ends with E, but any words that end with E will follow the same pattern. And with long words, we don't use ST. For comparatives, if you remember, we use more. For superlatives, the more becomes the most, so we say the most for long words. So here we see building 3, this one $3, this one $2, and this one $4. So we can say building 3 is the most expensive. $4, very expensive. We can also say the most interesting. I think comedies are the most interesting movies. They are my favorite. the most dangerous. Okay. And the last ones that we have are irregulars. So we remember from the last part that good for comparatives becomes better and bad becomes worse. For here, better becomes best, the best, and worse becomes the worst. Okay. So that is all the lesson. Let's practice making some sentences. Or actually, let's look in the book at the example sentences. So, in your book on page 58, I want you to read along with me these examples of superlative sentences. So the first one, we see the Nile. The Nile is the longest river. The Nile is the longest. It is the most long. There is no river that is longer than the Nile. All other rivers are shorter. Number 2, Mount Everest is the tallest mountain. Number 3, the cheetah is the fastest animal. Number 4, blue whales are the largest animals. Number 5, he thinks dogs are the best pets. And the last one, she thinks sharks are the most dangerous animals. Okay. So on the next page, we will work together. And then you will do pages 61 and 60 by yourselves. So the first question, we see this picture of these 3 girls. Don't look at the answers. Okay, see the picture of the 3 girls. It says Amy is taller than Mary, Karen is taller than Amy. So question 1, who is the tallest? We have Karen, Amy, and Mary. Karen, Amy, Mary. So, who is the tallest? The first girl is the tallest. Karen is the tallest. So, question number 2, looking at the picture. Who is the shortest? You can write. I'm going to erase some of this, so please pause the video and finish taking notes if you want to take notes. Okay, so question number 2, who is the shortest? We can write Amy is the shortest. Look at the video or look at the book, you can see Karen, wait, no, this is wrong. The book is wrong. We can write, for question number 2, what we can write is Mary is the shortest. So look at the book, we see Karen, Amy, Mary, and we see in the picture Mary, girl number 3, is the shortest. Okay, so the next question, we have Ken is faster than John, Mike is faster than Ken. Number 3, who is the fastest? We can say Mike is the fastest. Okay, number 4, who is the slowest? So if Ken is faster than John, and Mike is faster than Ken, Mike is fastest because he is faster than 2 people, and John is slowest because 2 people are faster than him. So John is the slowest. Okay, number 5, we have Mike's bike is $100, Ken's bike is $150, John's bike is $170. Which bike is the most expensive? We know John's bike, $170, the most money, so John's bike is the most expensive. So I wrote John's is the most expensive. Okay, number 6. Whose bike is the cheapest? So we see $100, $150, and $170. $100 is the cheapest price, so we can say Mike's bike is the cheapest. Okay, so please write these answers down. I will erase them in just a little bit. Okay, now let's go to question number 7. So for question number 7, we are looking at this picture. This picture, can you see it well? Karen's shoes are smaller than Amy's shoes. Mary's shoes are smaller than Karen's shoes. The question is, whose shoes are the smallest? So we see Karen's smaller than Amy, and Mary's smaller than Karen's. So Mary's shoes are going to be the smallest. So you can write Mary's are the smallest. Mary's shoes are the smallest. Number 8. Whose shoes are the biggest? Karen's shoes are smaller than Amy's, and Mary's shoes are smaller than Karen's. So Amy's shoes are the biggest. Okay. Number 9. Let's look. Last part, last picture at the bottom. Last part. John's backpack is heavier than Amy's backpack. Mike's backpack is heavier than John's backpack. So question number 9 is, whose backpack is the heaviest? John's is heavier than Amy's, and Mike's is heavier than John's. So John is heavier than Mike's and Amy's, so John's is the heaviest. And the last question, whose backpack is the lightest? So John's backpack is the heaviest. Amy's backpack, it is heavier than Amy's backpack, and Mike's backpack is heavier. Oh, whoops, I made a mistake. Back up. Okay, so for this question, John's backpack is heavier than Amy's backpack, and Mike's backpack is heavier than John's backpack. So, because Mike's backpack is heavier than John's, and John's is heavier than Amy's, Mike's backpack is heavier than 2 backpacks, so Mike's backpack is the heaviest. So right, Mike's is the heaviest. And whose backpack is the lightest? John's backpack is heavier than Amy's, and Mike's is heavier than John's. So Amy is not heavier than anybody, so Amy's is the lightest. Okay, take a moment to finish writing the answers before I will erase. now that you finished writing the answers on page 59, please go to page 60 and 61 and try to do all of the problems by yourself. Pause the video, take some time to do it, and play the video when you finish, okay? Let's get going. Okay, so now that you've finished pages 60 and 61, I will write the correct answers and you can check your answers to see if they are correct or incorrect. Okay? So number 1, the tennis ball is bigger than the golf ball. The golf ball is the smallest. The soccer ball is the biggest. Okay, the motorcycle is more expensive than the bike. So more expensive than. The bike is the cheapest. The car is the most expensive. Okay, please finish fixing your answers, and then I will erase, and we will do part 3. Okay. Okay, this part is adjective, adverb review, as well as comparative and superlative. So number 1, Sam is a quiet student. He doesn't talk much at school. Quiet is not talking a lot. Russia is bigger than France. Russia is bigger than France. Even though Russia is the biggest country, we do not say the biggest because in this sentence we only have 2 things we are talking about, Russia and France. So we need comparative, not superlative, which is 3 things. Number 3, there is a clown at the party. He has a happy smile. Please talk quietly. The baby is sleeping. Oops. So here we use quietly instead of quiet because we are describing the word talk. We need an adverb. Talk is a verb, and only adverbs can describe or talk about verbs. Quiet, for number 1, talks about Sam, so we use adjective. Quiet, not quietly, adverb. Okay, number 5, the cheetah is the fastest animal in the world. And here we use superlative with st instead of faster because we are comparing the cheetah with all animals in the world. We are comparing very many, so we use fastest, superlative. I think snowboarding is more fun than skiing. Mary is at her birthday party. She is smiling happily. And again, outline words, adverbs, talk about verbs, how Mary is smiling. And the last one, the Nile, is the longest river in the world. Okay, please finish fixing your mistakes, and then when you are ready, or pause the video while you finish, and then when you're ready, play the video, and we will go to the next page. Okay, great. Okay, so number 1, I don't like sad movies. And again, movies is a noun, so we use sad, adjective, instead of sadly, adverb. Next, Betty played the violin poorly. This is talking about how she played and not her or the violin. It is answering how, so we use adverb. And the last one, please carry the spots carefully. Okay, number 4. The soccer ball is bigger than the baseball. Number 5. What is the tallest mountain in your country? And we use ST superlative because we were comparing talking about many mountains in the country, not only 2 mountains, all mountains in the country. So we want superlative, ST for many. Number 6, Tim is the strongest player on the team. And elephants are heavier than gorillas. And the last one for this part, what is the longest river in Asia? Okay. So number 9, Betty was sick yesterday. She didn't go to school. Here we use was because we have yesterday in the sentence. We have yesterday, we know it needs to be past. And so the past of be is was. For he, she, it. Okay, so number 10, we saw many stars last night. And same, because we have last night, we know it is past, we say saw. And number 11, Mike didn't study yesterday, he played games. And we know he didn't because instead of study, because it says he played games. He can't study and play games at the same time. So we know he did not study. The last one is, did he practice the piano yesterday? No, he didn't. Did he practice? No, he didn't. Okay. So, finish writing your answers, and when you finish writing your answers, please take out your workbook and go to lesson 14. Pause if you need to check or fix any of your answers. Okay, now, when you finish writing your answers, go to page 43 in your workbook, not student book, workbook, and we are going to do this. I will let you do it by yourself, and then when you finish, pause the video now, and then when you finish, play the video, and we will check your answers. Okay. So, number 1, we have to write comparative and superlative forms. Number 1, already finished in the book. Cold becomes colder and coldest. Number 2, bad. Bad becomes worse and worst. Remember, bad is irregular. It is not the same as others. It follows its own pattern, so bad, worse, worst. Easy becomes easier and easiest. Don't forget the spelling change, why it becomes I. Safe becomes safer and safest. And remember, don't write two E's, just one E. Okay, this one is a long one, so more expensive becomes more expensive, and then most expensive. And the last one, big, becomes bigger and biggest. Okay, finish checking your answers, and then let's go to the next page. Again, please make sure to do pages 44 and 45 by yourself. Pause if you need to finish, and then I will check your answers. Okay. So here, let's go. Number one is finished for us. We have to look at this information to choose the answer to the question. So number three, which country is the smallest? Sudan is the smallest. Which country is the largest? Russia is the largest. Okay. Now, number five, which city is the coldest? Oslo is the coldest. Which city is the hottest? We know that Bangkok is the hottest. Okay. Number seven, which is the most expensive? The jacket is the most expensive. Which is the cheapest? The shirt is the cheapest. Okay, so number three, 1 and 2, you will need to write about yourself. So you can have many answers here that will all be correct. But I will write about me so you can see some example answers in case you think you might have made a mistake. So, which subject is the most difficult for you? For me, I think science is, I think history is the most difficult for me. So I'll write history is the most difficult. And which subject is the easiest for me? I will write math is the easiest for me. Okay. So now let's go to the next page. Okay. So number one, he is a happy boy. Boy is a noun, so we use happy, adjective, not happily, which is an adverb. The next one, the baby cried sadly. Here we are talking about how the baby cried, so we use Sadly with a Y and adverb. And this is a good book. And number 4, the boys sang loudly. Check your answers, finish writing, I will erase. Okay, now for the next part, the snail is slower than the turtle. The golf ball is smaller than the soccer ball. Okay. So here we are talking about all teams in your country. So we want to know, we are comparing many. So we use superlatives. So we can say which is the best. And number 4, which is the largest? Again, because we are talking about many, all buildings in the city, we want superlative ST and not comparative. Okay, so finish checking your answers, and then when you finish checking your answers, we will do the last part. Okay, so number 1, he did the dishes yesterday. Again, because it is yesterday, we need past tense, so did. Yesterday is past. Number 2, she read a book last night. And read and read are spelled the same. Number 3, he drove to work yesterday. Oh, no, sorry. Number 3, he didn't drive to work yesterday. He took a taxi. And we know he didn't drive because he took a taxi. So that is how we know we have didn't. He can't take a taxi and drive, so he must not have driven. Number 4, did she write a letter last night? Okay, finish checking your answers, and that will be the end of the lesson. I will give you some quick homework, and I will explain your homework in just a moment. Okay, so homework, IR 2013 and 14 lesson tests. This is not an assignment. This is only if you feel like you want extra practice. I uploaded these on SSCT website. You will find in homework 13 and 14 lesson tests, okay? So you can look at the homework on SSCT website and you will find 13, 14 lesson tests. Also, I want you to write a journal. This is homework. Please write it. I will not be able to check, but it is good practice. So compare 3 or more things. I want you to write between 6 to 8 sentences. So 6 to 8 sentences. And for my example, I will talk about ice cream versus cake versus TV. So pick any 3 things in the world and talk about how they are different, okay? Thank you for coming by our lesson, and I hope you learned something. I will talk to you soon.